Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe, and I am a weapon of mass instruction. And this morning, I'm going to be starting a series of episodes in which I'm going to basically break down, piece by piece, pretty much this, unified conspiracy theory that I've been working on. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have been pretty much doing the same thing in a lot more detail than I've been able to, with a lot more references than I've been able to find. But this is more for, the lay person, people like me who don't know, every single freaking law that's coming out and, who all the power players are and, exactly what the Sumerian tablets said, that, all that shit. I'm going to try to make this brief. Basically, I'm going to break it down step by step over the series. And what I did was, instead of taking all of these theories that I've been hearing, and trying to mash them together, which is what I was doing before, I said, all right, let's make a couple basic assumptions and work from back to front. All right, assumption number one, the Illuminati never died. They do exist. They're out there. They're fucking Satan worshippers, occult, fucking warlock, or I should say sorcerers or magicians or whatever you want to say. They never died out. They've been out there since, the 1700s, and they're still affecting and influencing everything. That's assumption number one. Assumption number two is that the Illuminati, their complete, their overall objective, their end game plan is world domination, absolute power, absolute control. All right? So now if we follow assumption number one, we assume that the Illuminati exist. Why? Well, the other option is that they don't exist and everything that we see evidence of is false and therefore to be completely discounted. And that makes absolutely no sense, because we've all seen a lot of stuff happening in the world, in the news, in science, in everything, pretty much every aspect of our lives. We've woken up to all these things that are happening, and we can't figure out why, if there isn't some sort of influencing power out there. So assumption number two, they want absolute power over everything. Why? Because they don't have it yet. They already have all the fucking money in the world. So they don't need more money. That's anybody who says that they want more money, that's just fucking stupid. Let me be perfectly blunt about that. That's fucking retarded. They have so much fucking money coming out their goddamn asses that they have not a care in the world when it comes to material goods. So what would be their next thing in this massive game that they've been playing? They already won the first game. Who's getting the money? That was probably the easy part for them. So now they're trying to figure out how can they get absolute power over all of us. And it's already been, and I know I put this up in some of my favorites and playlists and stuff like that. There was a huge presentation made by this professor who worked with the government for a while, who worked with, I think it was the Office of Foreign Affairs, and found all this written, attempted legislation and all these policies that they were making that basically said that human beings are biological resources. So we already can assume that they only care about us in terms of how can they use us. All right? So here we go. This is the last step of their overall plan. All right? And this is pretty much where the whole overarching unified theory. Why is this appearing backwards? This has been appearing backwards the whole time? Really? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? God damn it. Well, that fucking fucks up everything. I think I already showed a video with one of these things out. It shouldn't be backwards. Makes no sense. Alright, well, you know what? I'm going to read through it anyway. And if you guys can't read backwards, well, you might as well learn today. Fuck it. Alright, so we've got the Illuminati. Here's some basic, not facts, but suppositions. Things that we can guess about them. Alright, they're the power elite. The top 1% of the world, or less. More like 0.1%. Alright, they have influence, they have money, and they're highly immoral. We can see that through big business practices. People way at the top doing whatever the fuck they want and not getting into trouble for it. Money, that one's a fucking no-brainer. Influence, again, we see their references everywhere. They're hidden in plain sight. We see the Eye of Ra, the all-seeing eye inside of the pyramid. We see repeatedly 666, 999, 911, 1111. Like all these power numbers repeated throughout the news, throughout events, throughout everything. All right, I don't know how many times the date 9/11 has been referenced prior to 9/11/2001. You know, if you guys haven't seen how it was an inside job, look it up. Look it the fuck up. Definitely was. No question about it. There's so many smoking guns. You know, the whole fucking affair looks like goddamn Swiss cheese. And it's basically an instance of the power elite and their fucking puppets shitting all over the common people. Because how many people died that day? 3,000? 3,000 people died so that they could get what they fucking wanted. Not even a drop in the bucket for them. Alright? So numerology, occult dates, you know, fucking satanic rituals, which... you know, I don't think it's even a matter of being Satan. I gotta be honest. Like the three Abrahamic religions have gotten so huge in the world when in the beginning they were all just a bunch of cults. Let's be frank here. All right, I know there's Christians out there who don't want to hear that, and you know what? You're all free to believe in what you want, but those religions started somewhere, and I think these occult rituals started out way before that. So it's not about Satan. What else do we know about them? This is from Wikipedia. I forgot the exact date, but you know they were born around 1776, right about the time the United States was born. All right, shortly thereafter or shortly before. All right, they were supposedly disbanded at the very beginning of the 1800s. Really? Of course not. All right, anybody who says that they absolutely definitely were, that's just silly. Because if I was in charge of a secret society and we made decisions that, you know, oh hey, let's take over the world, of course we're going to make it look like we're disbanded. That way, nobody guesses that it was us the whole time. So I'm basically, this whole time I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm putting my mind in their places. And that's what we got to do in order to figure out what exactly their plans are. And we don't have a whole lot of time left. Believe you me. All right. So their overall goal, one world government. It's pretty much them at the top in charge of everything. Their dirty little fingers everywhere, controlling every aspect of our lives. How we breathe, how we eat, how we talk, how we sleep, everything. We see evidence of this everywhere. You know, NATO and their heavy-handed policies. You know, they're the United States trying to spread democracy everywhere. Well, you know what? Fuck us. Who the fuck are we to judge? So what? Democracy works well for us. You know what? The American people were, from the start, people who disagreed with, you know, the system as it stood at the time. We wanted freedom. We wanted a say in our government. And that's going bye-bye. Never really was there to begin with. The Electoral College, that was instituted for a good reason. Because back then, most common people had no idea what was going on in the government. Most common people wanted another king at the time. They wanted George Washington to run for several terms because everybody wanted him to be the president. So the Electoral College was included as part of the initial United States template. Here's what the government's going to look like, because most common people weren't well informed. They needed representatives so that they could say, okay, here's what we want, and the representative could translate that into, okay, well, here's the best guy for the job. We don't need the Electoral College anymore. The average American is far more educated in terms of politics. It's been crammed down our throats since birth now. You know? Cradle to the grave, all we hear about is, you believe this, so you got to be a Republican. You believe this, so you got to be a Democrat. You know, fuck that shit. Bipartisan bullshit. Should never have been like that in the beginning. The Electoral College should have been abolished as soon as the internet became widespread. And it still should be abolished. We don't need it anymore. It's fucking destroying the system because they can elect whoever the fuck they want. We can already see how many of them are fucking doing whatever the fuck they want anyway, counter to what we the people tell them need to happen. A lot of shit going on, a lot of corruption. I'm going to go right out and say it. You got fucking politicians running around sleeping with hookers, which is it a really great thing to do? No. Is it something that the common person would do? Yeah. Every guy has needs. But you're in a position of authority. You should be projecting the right, not the, I'm going to go ahead and break the fucking law because I goddamn feel like it side of things. So, one world government. I've heard basically 3 main ideas as to how this is going to happen. We got the police state, welfare state, and the whole Bible book of Revelation stuff. Which, I actually had an idea a couple days ago. I was actually countering somebody's argument on some comment I made. I took something that had nothing to do with religion whatsoever, and they turned it all into Jesus is coming. Which, like I said, everybody's free to believe in what they want. And I gave them hell for it, and I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be like that. I gave them hell for voicing their opinion so loudly when the topic at hand had nothing to do with it, really. But my sudden revelation of my own was that, okay, the Bible was written by human hands. It may have come from God himself or itself, maybe. But that initial message obviously got lost in translation. There's a lot of, like the New Testament came out only with Christianity, and then Islam recognized it as well. But Judaism never recognized the New Testament. In fact, I believe they don't even recognize all the way up until when Jesus was born, the beginning of the New Testament. All right? So the book of Revelation, written by human hands. Whose hands? We are told that it's the book of Revelation of St. John, but a good portion of the New Testament was published long after the death of most of these saints, these original, the apostles. So who's to say that was really what St. John saw? Like, if I had the idea that it could have been these guys who have their hands in every little thing. By a couple hundred years, and let me get something straight. The Illuminati didn't just start in 1776. It's a crazy fucking coincidence. No. What we think of as the Illuminati has been, it is, always will be, and always has been more than just the Illuminati. All right, they are the power elite. That's what it comes down to. That's what they really are. The biggest world leaders out there. In ancient times, probably Caesar himself was part of it. All the Caesars. You know what I mean? Or they might have been puppets of it. We have references to people lending money, since ancient times. Stuff like that. I think these guys have been around since the birth of civilization as we know it. In fact, I highly recommend, if you haven't already read it, read a book called Die, Sheeple, die. Written by a guy who calls himself DJ Hives. Die, sheep will die. Alright? And he explains how the occult got started, how society got started. And it's a different take on things. It's definitely not in the history books. He basically talks about how people were tricked into thinking that the eclipse, which is a normal cosmic cycle, was some sort of evil spirit coming to take away their souls or destroy the world. But these very few enlightened people knew what an eclipse was, a solar eclipse, and realized that they could actually gain power from it simply by telling people, well, we have a solution and we're going to make it go away, but you have to let us lead you. Hence the beginning of society and civilization. Now, I don't know how much of that is truth, or how much of that is just this guy came up with it one day and said, wow, that would be an interesting idea. But I do believe that, you know, these illuminated ones have been around since, you know, long before Christianity got started. So this whole Revelation thing, I think there's a very good chance that the entire prophecy there is simply the world's greatest false flag operation. Everybody thinks it's Satan, and then God is going to save them, and this, that, and the other thing, and the rapture, and all that. When, I mean, if I had knowledge that other people didn't, if I had my hands in everything and I wanted to get more money, get more power, have a safety net in the future so that if my plans changed, I could do whatever the fuck I wanted with no repercussions whatsoever. Because right now, these guys still have to tiptoe because they are still trying to remain hidden. Not so much anymore. You got Illuminati references everywhere. And that's the newest term that people have come out with, you know. But I think there's a good chance that the majority of the book of Revelation was put in there by these people so that they could act it out in the future, orchestrate events to make it look that way. Like the 3 days of darkness, that could be the full solar eclipse followed by the blood moon, followed by the transit of Venus or something like that. Supposed to happen in November of this year. Could be other things. Could be anything they fucking want. We've seen that they now have holographic technology. We already saw Tupac, and some chick in the fucking newsroom on CNN did that shit. The hologram. So it's there. They could make a holographic image of whatever the fuck they wanted. We already saw that HARP works. We've got the fucking ghost city in China, the Norway spiral. Yeah, that was a failed rocket. Bullshit. There was the same sort of spiral in Australia. There was the ghostly fucking halo in Russia. Like everywhere. These signs of the apocalypse. And I think it's them. And they're getting ready to make this happen. Alright, that might be it. Because there's a good portion of the world, in one form or another, that believes in this. So if they see this starting to happen, even if the bad guys are behind it, they're going to think that the good guys are going to win. Great bit of false flagginess there. Everybody knows what the fucking police state is supposed to look like. This technocratic society where they control everything and the police are always watching. Big Brother's always watching. You better not do anything wrong. So we don't even need to go into that. That's one form of absolute power. Another form of absolute power, which we're also seeing a lot of, a welfare state. We're looking at countries like France. The Socialist Party leader just got elected. America, this is already happening. People are getting, you know, Obamacare, which is a state-run insurance program for medical aid. We've already got, you know, state, or I should say, you know, federal tax, you know, cuts. We got federal this, federal that, federal everything. There's all sorts of federal programs to make our lives easier. But we get put more and more in debt. And I think that's what the welfare state is. They want that they could want to give us everything we want and need, or think we want and need, but the whole time they're leading us around by a collar and a leash. They're saying, okay, we're going to go here next, and you're going to do this. And the reason why you're going to do this is because you're getting all these benefits from us. We're giving you these benefits, so we want you to do this for us. So that's something that not a lot of people are thinking about. It might not be this police state. People are naturally going to rebel against, absolute control. But when that absolute control is hidden under the guise of we're getting all of these benefits from the government, so now they want us to do this, that, and the other thing. Oh, that's a fair trade. I'm still getting my medical coverage. I'm still getting my school loan. I'm still getting my car loan. I'm still getting my reverse mortgage. They're going to own my house when I die, but it's okay because I'm getting money from them. Yeah. So I totally wanted this to end at 5 minutes. My bad. I'm going to cut it off right here. That's their end game. This is where all these theories come together, and it's going to happen. And the next time I put an episode out there about this, I'm going to show you, if you don't already know, I'm sure everybody does by now, exactly what form this change is going to take. What kind of policies are they putting into effect as we speak to make this happen? And I bet you there's plenty of people out there who are already watching this who can tell me right now what that is. I'll give you a hint. It's something that the UN came up with. United Nations. United Nations. Sounds very close to one nation, doesn't it? United, one. Kind of like the United States of America. We are one nation. United States, United Nations, one world, superpower. Get it? Okay. So anybody who's watching this, homework for next time, go ahead and comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think this UN policy is, this UN decision that's going to bring about their global police welfare revelation state. Again, my name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. If you need extra info on anything I just talked about, go ahead and look it up. I looked this shit up on Wikipedia, on YouTube, looked up books in the library, all sorts of references out there that tell you exactly what you want to know. And they can't stop us from getting our knowledge. Yet. But they're working on it. Bit by bit, they're chipping away from our freedoms, our rights, our liberties, our privileges that we take for granted. You guys think about that. I'm going to let you go now. Again, my name is Joe, and I'm a weapon of mass instruction. I think I said that 3 times now. And I'll catch you all later.